Hey guys, this is Eiene. Today I'm gonna talk to you about the recent changes about DK. As many of you know, people have been crying about the nerfs or changes, as you could put them, because they're not really a nerf. I mean, they're explicitly a nerf according to the patch notes, right? Because you lose an iframe on this skill, Shift W, Smoky Haze. This skill used to be super armor, iframe, super armor. It used to be iframe in between the animation, like over here, and it was super armor at the beginning and at the end, so you could still get hit by everything and you would take a lot of damage, die of course. However, with the latest patch, it's now full super armor and you take full damage through the entire animation. To me, that's like the biggest nerf we've got out of the patch rather than the stamina. Mainly because, I mean, you don't actually feel it when you fight most classes, but you do actually feel the nerf when you're fighting witches overall, like witches more than any other class. Witches is a matchup that now has changed a lot, because you could previously use your iframe to dodge, like your frontal iframe to dodge their skills, and they could never hit you if you played it properly. But now you're forced to trade damage into them and take damage to super armor. Because keep in mind, you can only iframe, like this is still an iframe for those who don't know, like this has never changed. There are people who are saying, no, DK's lost their iframes. No, I will go into detail into that later. It's still an iframe. But yeah, like the matchup has changed a lot because of that change, because it forces you to trade, because you can no longer do an iframe into another iframe. This is super armor, so you will take full damage when you do that. Other than that, the stamina changes. Now when you do your side iframe, you will lose stamina, as you're seeing on my stamina bar below, and you cannot regen stamina while using most of your skills, actually, surprisingly enough. But it's not a big deal because we have so many tools to get distance, sit in block, regen stamina if needed, and overall it's just not like the stamina in itself is not a big deal. It only makes a difference when it comes to kiting. Like now when you kite, you can actually go out of stamina if you kite very intensively for like a long period of time. But if you're in a 1v1 situation or like a mass scale situation where you don't really need to kite, like you will only reposition around the fight, it's not really a noticeable change. It's only like for RBF or open world PvP, where previously you could just kite 10 people forever endlessly, and now you cannot do that anymore. In my opinion, it's a good change, because you could see like really bad DKs not dying ever, and I think now it adds like a new layer of skill into the DK gameplay overall. But still, just keep in mind, the stamina can still be regened through many means, like using your entire awakening kit, lingering frontal blocks and stuff. So it's not really something to be worried about. It's not as big as the super armor change, even though keep in mind, like the super armor change is not big either. Like you can play around it. It's nothing. It doesn't make DK that much weaker, as people put it. I've also been reading that some people are rerolling from DK because it's like Nerf is just unplayable for them, and they don't know how to manage their stamina. They don't know how to play anymore the class. Well, for all of you, I have to say you need to get good, because there's nothing else to it. My gameplay has not changed at all in PvP, aside from the witch matchup, as I said earlier, because you're forced now to play differently, and it's a bit harder now. Like before, you could hand it to zero them very easily, and like 1v2 witches, 1v3, doesn't matter, because they would never hit you if you played it right. And now it got a bit harder, but that's it. Like that's the only real change, and also the fact that now you can get grabbed through that. But that's not a big deal, because as long as you keep your side iframe to dodge the grab, you will never get grabbed. So it's fine. I mean, you will get grabbed, but the iframe, you will be in the iframe animation and it won't do anything. So it won't count as a real grab. Now the other change is we can now use our side iframe while on cooldown. But when you do it on cooldown, it's not iframe and it's not super armor, it's not anything. It's you can get CC'd, you can get hit. It's basically you're exposed. It's mainly for mobility. Some people have said it's a buff for PvE. In my opinion, it's not a buff for PvE. It's more of a buff for PvP, where you can reposition better. And that's why I don't like talking about a nerf, but more of a change, because it's a trade-off. You lose some stamina, and in turn it gives you more versatility in the fight, where you can sometimes move and dodge a clutch spell. Like you can dodge now a wizard ultimate by using your iframe on cooldown and getting out of range. Of course, you have to keep out of range. If you get hit, it will go through the animation because it's not an iframe. Other than that, it's not really a nerf. Like as I said, it's really not a big deal if you know what you're doing. That's the main issue right now, is that people were used to playing DK in brain dead mode. Well, not brain dead, because DK has never been a brain dead class, even though people have been always complaining about how easy and OP DK is. In my opinion, it's never been, I mean, it's still strong. I wouldn't say OP. Like the definition of OP, you probably want to look at Striker. Like that's a class that's more in the line of OP, because you know they take really low damage. Their damage is ridiculous, and they're ridiculous in every aspect of the game. So yeah, and their kit is also like beyond broken, like 2 grabs and whatever. I will not go into detail about that, but you get what I mean, right? Like on DK, you need to play it perfectly to get the full potential, especially now with the changes. Bad DKs do iframes on cooldown by mistake and they die and they get punished for it. So in my opinion, it's a really good change, because it's adding a new layer of skill cap into DK gameplay rather. You can no longer just not pay attention to your cooldowns and just sit in block, spam iframe, and wait for iframe to come out of cooldown, because if you do that, you're just gonna be using your iframe on cooldown all the time, and you're gonna be punished for it if the other player is good, of course. Now you could even argue, how do I even realize if the DK is using the iframe on cooldown? Well, you cannot, but that would be the difference between a good and a bad player. The good player can keep like a mental note of when the DK is using the iframe on cooldown, because you know the sideways iframe is 2 seconds on cooldown. So if you see a DK do block, iframe, block, and iframe again, that iframe is on cooldown, so you can punish him there. But of course, it's all about keeping the mental note about him using the iframe previously. It's not really a big deal, but yeah, you can notice it, especially like in large fights where you see DKs who are not used to the changes, or DKs who are not very good at the class, getting CC'd by random stuff because of that. Because they panic, they hold the iframe, and they get CC'd. It happens to me sometimes, not often, but it happens to me sometimes. Like there are scenarios where you want to like your iframe is about to come out of cooldown, like here, and you do the iframe a bit before it comes out of cooldown. Like that's more of a timing mistake on my behalf. But it's something that will get eventually fixed when I get fully used to the changes. And that's why, in my opinion, it's a really good change, and I like it a lot. So another question many of you are wondering about is DK really nerfed? Like, is DK bad now? Like, is DK worth playing? What should I do? I'm playing DK, I don't like the changes. Should I reroll? Well, if you were playing DK because it's OP, you should not have been playing DK in the first place. And if you don't enjoy the gameplay on DK or any other class, you should not be playing it in the first place either. Like, you should just play something else that you enjoy playing. And if you don't enjoy anything, then I would just suggest that you quit the game, because you will quit it sooner or later at that point. Keep in mind, overall, like, you need to play something for fun, and to me DK is still fun, even if the nerf, well, the changes are a bit annoying sometimes because of that. I still really like them because I know I'm getting punished for making a mistake. overall. Like that feels very rewarding, especially when I fight other DKs. It feels like I can force them into making mistakes, and I force them into not play, and that to me is what makes the game so skill heavy, because you need to keep outplaying your opponent, and the gameplay on DK now is a lot more. You need to be a lot more accurate overall. Like you need to be on point. Otherwise, it's very easy to get punished now. Like really easy. People keep saying, "Oh, DK is broken. It's so easy to play." I challenge you to play DK and try it out, and you will see it's not as brain dead and easy as it looks. Like you see right here, I'm grinding, pressing the same keys over and over. Like, oh, dude, such an easy class. Well, it's not that easy in PvP. I'm telling you. Like, sure, the PvE is broken. And in PvP it's not that easy. And also another thing, people have been complaining about going out with stamina in PvE. I don't know how you guys do that. Like, I never go out with stamina. I would say you're probably used to using the wrong spells overall. Like you need to keep in mind, if you want to regen stamina, you need to use, for example, Spirit Blaze like this, and you shift right click. Those are the two best spells to regen stamina nowadays, and shifty. Like in PvE, of course. Like you regen stamina while doing damage, so you have to keep that in mind overall. Like it's just a matter of adapting to the new gameplay. And for any of you out there who want to know how to punish DKs easier now, it's just all I can tell you is if you have a grab, try to grab them on the frontal dash, because it's not an iframe anymore, as I mentioned. Another way to do it is you can just brute force the DK through a lot of damage, like witches do. Like witches, for example, can now brute force DKs if the DK has no clue what he's doing, because DK has always been squishy. So tanking through super armor is not a solution, and holding onto your block is not a solution either. So you have to keep it in mind. And the other way to do it is fish out for when they use the iframe on cooldown, but if the DK is good, you will probably not get them through that. You will need to get a lot of pressure off and hope that they make a mistake, but even then, the best alternative to the gameplay that you can do right now is just brute force. Like, do a lot of damage to them. Wait for them to use their side iframes like this, and go ham. Use everything you got on them. Like, do all of the big damage skills. Try to get them CC. Try to use straight damage overall. Like, they will not be able to keep up with the pressure, because unlike many people think, DK damage is not that good. Like, DK damage is good, of course, but DK damage in itself is not like, it's not like a striker or a wizard. Like, your damage is not that good. You don't need to, like, you cannot just use one spell and one-shot someone. You need to kind of combo them, right? So what that means is there are many classes out there. Like, even a warrior, like a geared warrior, can probably trade into, for example, if I use shift LMB, a warrior can use slashing the dead into that, and if he's geared, he will one-shot my block. And I've seen that happen. So after he breaks my block, he's gonna force me into kiting, and it's gonna force me into probably getting CC'd if I make a mistake. So that's the kind of things that I mean. Like, you need to understand the DK kit if you wanna punish them. That's why I would say I'm good in the DK mirrors, because I know exactly how the DK kit works, and I know when to use my skills. I know when to punish the DK. And it really has counterplay. Like, if you think it doesn't have counterplay, that's a learn to play issue on your behalf, because DKs have a lot of gaps, a lot of openings, and a lot of counterplay. Anyway, I think that's all. I might be uploading PvP videos on YouTube. I don't know yet, because most of the time I'm just streaming on Twitch. So pass around my Twitch if you want to see DK gameplay. I try to stream nearly every day, or at least every few days. And I'm usually PvPing, because I don't enjoy anything else in the game. Like, sometimes I grind, like right now I'm grinding a bit in Pilaku. I'm using this gear, for any of you who don't know. I'm using a Duo Kutum, because it's actually better than Nuber at Pilaku. I have a Dead Nuber, but Duo Kutum is better. I tried to make it try, but not yet. And I'm also using my beloved Roaring Magical Armor with human damage, because it gives more damage in PvE because of the accuracy, right? Like, the accuracy in Pilaku is valuable, and this combined with the kutum is really good damage in PV. As you can see, I grind really fast and I'm not even buffed. No alchemy zone, and if I had a tri kutum or a tet kutum, I would be grinding even faster. So yeah guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video and it was insightful for DK players or even non-DK players. I tried to be as intuitive on everything. Like, I didn't follow any guidelines or anything. I just mentioned what came out through my head about the nerfs. And if you have any questions or if I missed anything, don't hesitate to ask me on the chat. So yeah guys, see you.